x squared minus 2x minus 24 is equals to 0. So what you want to do here is to ask yourself, which two numbers do I multiply and get minus 24, but then when I add, I get minus 2. We are essentially factorizing, right? You will realize that those two numbers is minus 6 and plus 4. So as a consequence, we're going to have x minus 6 multiplied by x plus 4 is equals to 0, right? So x minus 6 is equals to 0, or x plus 4 is equals to 0. So x can be equals to 6, or x can be equals to minus 4. Again, just to recap, which two numbers do I multiply and get minus 24, and then when I add them, I get minus 2, right? It's minus 6 and plus 4. And then let's do 1.1.2. So 1.1.2 is saying that let's solve for x if 2x squared minus 3x minus 3 is equals to 0. And then in the bracket they tell us that we must round off to 2 decimal places, right? As soon as we see that, we know fully well that we're going to use the quadratic formula, that is x is equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a, right? And then from our equation here, we know fully well that the coefficient of x squared is a, right? The coefficient of x is b, and this term here is going to be our c, right? So if we substitute that in our equation, we should get x is equals to minus, we're saying that b is minus 3, right? So minus 3 plus or minus b squared. So we have minus 3 squared minus 4ac. A is 2 and c is minus 3, right? And then we divide everything by 2 multiplied by 2. So x is going to be equals to minus multiplied by minus 3. That will just give us 3, right? And then plus or minus the square root of 33, right? If you put that in your calculator, and then everything divided by 4. So now it's easy to see that x will be equals to 3 plus the square root of 33 divided by 4, or our x can be equals to 3 minus square root of 33 divided by 4. So here x is going to be equals to 2.19 if we round off to 2 decimal places, or x is going to be equals to minus 0.69, and that's how we essentially solve that problem. Now let's do 1.1.3. So for 1.1.3 we have x squared plus 5x being less or equals to minus 4. As soon as we have something like this, right, we're going to jump straight to the critical values. So we're looking for the critical values, right? So we're gonna have x squared plus 5x being equals to minus 4. So this will be x squared plus 5x, and then minus 4. If we take it to the other side, we should have plus 4 being equals to 0, right? So now we can factorize this. Which two numbers do we multiply and we get 4, but then when we add them we get plus 5? That's easy. 1 and 4, right? So we're gonna have x plus 1, right, multiplied by x plus 4 being equals to 0. Obviously, when you get at this step, you can actually multiply out the bracket and see if you get what you started with. So if we go ahead and solve this, x will be equals to minus 1, or x is gonna be equals to minus 4. So this is where it gets interesting, right? The way I solve this problem, I introduce 2 possible solutions, right? So we can only have 2 possible solutions from this problem. It's either our answer is between the two numbers or outside the two numbers. What am I talking about here? It's either x is equals to 4 or between -4 and -1, or it can also be equals to -1, right? And then this is our first possible solution. Our other possible solution is that our answer is outside that range, right? So what am I saying? We're saying that x is less or equals to -4 and x is greater or equals to -1. We only have these two possible solutions, the first one and the second one. So now let's check which solution is true, right? So here on the first solution, we say that x can be between -4 and -1, right? So let's take a number between -4 and -1 and substitute it in our equation. If that number satisfies our equation, then the first option is true and the second is not. We know that we have x squared plus 5x being less or equals to -4. So let's take -2, right? Since -2 is between -4 and -1. So if we take -2, we're gonna get -2 squared plus 5 multiplied by -2 being less or equals to -4. So -2 squared, that will be 4, right? So we have 4, and then 5 multiplied by -2, that will be -10. So we have -10 being less or equals to -4. So we're getting -6 being less or equals to -4. And you can see that this is true, right? -6 is less than -4. So our first option is true. So this answer here cannot be correct, because when you take a number in this interval that we're proposing, it satisfies our equation. 1.1.4. So for 1.1.4, we have the square root of x plus 28 being equals to 2 minus x, right? So let's square both sides here and see what happens. So we have the left hand side squared and then the right hand side squared. The left hand side, that will just be x plus 28, and the right hand side, so we have 2 minus x squared, right? So you say 2 multiplied by 2, that is 4, and then 2 multiplied by minus x, that is minus 2x, multiplied by 2, that will be minus 4x, and then minus x multiplied by minus x, that will be plus x squared, right? So let's take x and 28 to the right hand side, right? So we have 0 being equals to, so 4 minus 28, that will be minus 24, and then minus 4x minus x, that will be minus 5x, and then plus x squared, right? So now we factorizing that. Again, our key equation, which two numbers do we multiply and we get minus 24, but when we add, we get minus 5. That should be minus 8 and positive 3, right? So 0 should be equals to x minus 8 multiplied by x plus 3. So now it's easy to see that x is equals to 8 or x is equals to minus 3. But then one between these two answers is not necessarily true, because we squared here and introduced solutions that might not be necessarily true. So it's up to us now to check which answer is that. So we're going to substitute 8 and we're going to substitute minus 3 in the equation and see what happens, right? So let me just substitute 8 real quick. So if I substitute 8 real quick on the left hand side, I get 6. And then let me check what happens on the right hand side. On the right hand side, I'm getting minus 6. Clearly 8 doesn't satisfy our original equation, so we have to show here by saying that x is not equals to 8.